to the Sim Racing Alliance. We are here with Season 10 and Round 1.
Boogity, let's go racing as the green flag jobs.
Looking maybe even full wide.
They're fanning out, there's a bit of contact. He's got the outside.
Side. That's a great move.
He's got plenty of speed in there and he's being held up.
He's gonna have a better run. Yeah, it's gonna stick it on the outside.
Oh, that's a late move. 296 Ferrari though finds the space.
Oh, he didn't have it.
We're on the way for SRA.
Welcome back, everyone, to SRA. This is round 1 at Barcelona for Division 3. Tonight we have an exciting race ahead of us and two familiar faces in the booth with myself, Landon, and Steph Fisher. Excited to bring this one to you today. It's going to be a fun one. Some new faces on the grid, but also some familiar faces on track too. Should be a fun race as well. Yeah, Barcelona. It's a good track for round 1 just because there is some pretty fundamental corners to it. It's a real rhythm track, so as long as you can get the hang of it, you know, you can really get into a rhythm and you know, go throughout a good race with also some good passing zones too. For instance, turn 1, the Elf corner, after the big long straight of the start finish straight, it's going to be one of our main passing zones for tonight. But it's tough to go too wide into turn 1 and 2, so you want to make sure you get your passing done beforehand. Then you have the long right-hander of turn 3. Feels like it goes on forever. Those front tires are going to be wishing for a new life afterwards. But to no avail, turn 4 comes up right after that. This Sector 2 complex dominated by some medium to low speed corners. Turn 4s and turn 5 going down the hill. You have to spot your apex perfectly, otherwise you'll blow right through it. As you continue going down the hill to turn 6 and 7, Worth corner, it's a downhill going into turn 7, but then back up a hill to turn 8. Make sure you ride the curbs on the outside. Really easy to pick up a track cut there, so you want to make sure to avoid that, or at least no more than 3 times. Up the hill to turn 9, it's almost flat out. You usually have to either lift or give it a little bit of a break, but super high speed. Definitely don't want to go too wide through there. But then that sets up for our next great passing zone in turn 10, going down the hill, down the back stretch. It's a first gear corner. As long as you spot your braking zone perfectly, you can manage to get ahead of the person in front of you there. Turn 11, turn 12, another sweeper corner there. The right-hander of turn 12. It's really hard to make sure your car can hug the inside there. You'll see a lot of understeering, especially towards the end of the stint here tonight. Turn 13, that's another one. Got to spot your braking point. You feel like you kind of just float through the right-hander there, down to the chicane of turn 14 and 15, which, as you may know, in F1 they got rid of in favor of some better racing. But in ACC we still have it, so everyone has to navigate their way through the tall curbs that is turn 14 to 15, leading on to the penultimate corner of turn 16, back onto the front stretch. Set it up properly, you can have a great run into turn 1 to try to make an overtake there. Should be an exciting one. This track, it sort of favors some great racing with those passing zones there, and as long as you've done your practice ahead of time and can spot your braking points in traffic, it's should have a good potential for racing. I'm excited to see what these D3 drivers can do. Speaking of D3 drivers, oh yeah. Speaking of D3 drivers, I was gonna say we have some familiar faces, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but also some few new ones. So we have Donovan Colton and Tyrell Foster up there. They're the teammates in the Lexus. It's a bold choice for Division 3, but I love to see the variety with SRA's custom BOP. It sort of opens the doors for anyone to have whatever car they want, for them to choose maybe some oddball cars that maybe aren't usually as fast. Jason Yarin and Jeremy Yarin, the brothers, and the OBDA outfit, the Ferrari. Martin Riggs up into D3 this season. Excited what he can do with Robbie Totti and the Porsche. So keep going down the list. Some familiar faces. Justin McCheckney. He's looking pretty quick out there. Chris Sweeney, we know he's fast. He was one of our front runners last season. And then Neil Sutherland, obviously, he's back this season for some more racing action. Curtis Lee, a big supporter of SRA and setting up some of the events. Glad to see him up into D3.
Yep. And I will refrain from calling him Kyle Cucumber, which we raced with him several seasons ago, and every time I saw him go by, and I told him, he said, "Yeah, I hear that a lot."
That's amazing.
I'm getting it out of my system now, and I will try not to say it again. The rest
Beautiful.
of our grid up here, we have David Funk and Kamel. I'm not going to try to say it. Special shout out to Ian and Panzo. Panzo is just an all-around great guy, so that'll be my plug for him for today.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah. Andrew Wright, one of our other fantastic commentators, is in D3 again this season, so we'll be looking for him. Fast guy right there. I think we noted, you noted Kevin Happy Face. We're particularly happy with his name.
Love it.
Yes, and let's see, Chris Whitting Jr. People are blending in my head, and I'm not sure if he was D3 last season.
Yeah, he was also in the Aston, so it's a familiar car there for him.
Awesome. And then, well, not too much to say because, as far as standings go, there's 0 points on the board. So here's our teams coming up for this season. You have a couple of OBDAs and GRRs and Red Eye Racing. Those are all people we've seen. Plan E. And a few new ones too there. But there'll be more to talk about there, I think, next week. We actually have some points up there. They're out there. Looks like they're just starting to get out there and what's this? They're qualifying. Sorry, my words fail once in a while. So getting their qualifying laps. So let's hop over there and see what they're doing. So I can function here.
Let's do it. Yeah, so
there we go.
You'll see a variety of cars. I mean, obviously the new car, the Ford Mustang, it's loud, it's proud, and it's fast around here. So a lot of drivers opting to take that car into season 11 here in SRA. It's a new one, so it's not really a known variable yet around all these cars. Maybe setups aren't all there, but excited to see the variety out here, as well as these good-looking liveries. The theme this year is Night at the Movies, and so you're seeing a lot of people opt for that theme as they go into season 11, either with some movie-themed cars or some movie-adjacent, themes. I was seeing some people like, well, we didn't do movie cars perhaps, but here's what you would take to a movies with some candy bars or so. So it's exciting to see all these people, get creative with making livery, and it makes it a bit fun. That's sort of one of the great things about SRA. As we tune into here, the qualifying laps, people are just setting out their first hot laps. Particular names to note, we won't see him just yet. Actually, we will. Eduardo Rodriguez, he was top of the D3 times in practice servers. He's a silver driver, so he'll be out here in this session. But with a 43.9 in the practice servers, he's quick. He's a speedy boy. So seeing out here in D3 silver, it'll be exciting to see what he can do with an open track ahead of him, and now with all the pressure on, see if he can repeat that.
All right, I'm going to admit that I didn't know how to do this, and I didn't sync my livery.
Oh man, so we're gonna see a lot of carbon tonight, and that's okay. We'll have it all right for next.
Deeply apologetic about this. So I'm gonna do it now, and we'll do a little a spin here between qualifying and racing. So hopefully by the race, I will have all of your beautiful liveries functioning. And some of you may know, if I don't, I'm gonna chase you down later this week. As a warning.
That's right. It's a good catch, and we'll get it all sorted out here. But we're seeing some hot laps come in already.
Oh yes,
See,
let's see.
Red in the Porsche, he's setting a hot lap already with a 44.9. Decent pace out here for D3 quali, and it's pretty tight with Beck. We're gonna go with, and P2 with only half a tenth behind him. The one I had my eye on there was Rodriguez, and he actually went off track there for his first hot lap. He went back to the pits, got a new set of tires, and is back out there.
But I see
Pressure's
Red
cooking
is
though.
saving some time off there, though. Of course, now that I'm on him, we might be forcing him to lose that gain that he's got there.
Commentator's curse will happen.
Oh, I know. Sorry.
Well, that is that is one thing to note about this track, though, especially these quali conditions. It's hot. We were quali, I think ambient temperature was 25 or so, but track temp was 35. These tires, they're struggling to last the entire 10 minutes. And so these drivers, some of them even opting for a split strategy in quali. It's a bold move. You have to really trust yourself that you can put your hot laps in when they count. You know, coming in to get your second set of tires in just 10 minutes. But if you're really, you know, sliding them around like some of these Porsches can do, yeah, it might be the favorable strategy.
Oh, yeah. I have to say, I'll take a wet track more than over a hot track any day of the week.
Yeah, it feels like it's a bit more predictable when it's wet, right? When it's so hot, it feels like the car just will not turn, no matter how much will you put into it.
Absolutely. You know, wet, you can manage it, but hot is just snowballs down. The hotter it gets, the worse it gets, and the worse it gets. Yeah, it doesn't really snowball when it's wet. It doesn't snowball
Not
when
the
it's
way
hot
you want
either,
it.
I guess, really. It would just melt and become wet. Anyhow.
You pull up Vasquez there in the McLaren. We're seeing a group of
did.
McLaren there, P3 through P6 right now. All within a tenth. He'll improve on his time actually to go P3 overall right now. That's a quick time.
Beck really wants P1 there. He's pushing that one. We'll take a look at him, and I'll stick with him this time. Let's look at not that view, that view.
Yeah, we'll see how he attacks this Sector 3. Just about gets it woed down enough for the apex there. Rides over the curbs on the left-hand side and just rides the edge of the curb there. That's exactly what you want to do around that corner. Monsters over the curb, spots his braking point. Just glides over that curve there too. Gets it all the way turned to the right, just to turn it back left for the chicane. Manages to avoid those curbs. That's going to be crucial. Rides over the yellow one there on the exit. Some cars it gets a bit upset if you do that too much. He navigates it just fine. He's still up on his time, and it's good enough for P1 provisional. Like 0.3 of a second. That's a low 44 already in D3 silver. That's quick.
That is quite snappy. Absolutely. These guys are fantastic. And put in a lot
well
of
done
work.
to him.
So remind me, because I'm actually not racing this season, what the pit rules are this time around.
Yeah, so season 10, was a bit of a trial period. We tested some different strategies, and in season 11 we've all landed on the same one. So the entire 8 races this season, it's all going to be a mandatory tire change, but no refuel. So that does mean the pit strategy can be a bit cut and dry, where you just sort of split the stint up, in 30 minutes, change your tires, come back out. But I will say it does allow for some variability in where you take your tires. Some opting for a bit more of an undercut strategy throughout the race, gets their tire change done and can immediately start, getting hot laps in. In fact, they're worth about a second a lap at the beginning of the stint, so that can immediately jump you a couple positions depending on where you're at on track. But that means at the end of the stint, you are begging for the race to be over. I know it was for me last night. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to watch these drivers and what strategy they employ.
Absolutely. Thank you for enlightening me there. I was unsure. But
Yeah, no worries. We're seeing Shorts. He goes P2 in the Mustang. That thing's pretty quick around here. A lot of straightaways, and that Mustang seems to favor those quite a bit. Doesn't go for another hot lap because, we actually still have a bit more time left, 46 seconds, but he calls it quits. Settles for P2, that's still pretty quick. We'll see where he ends up.
yeah, he's happy with that, and that's good. He did a good time in there. Vasquez is a half a second up, and could he maintain that? That would put him up into P3.
Yeah, right now he is
Actually,
flying.
blistering speed, like the
He
track
gets
is
over the
blistering.
curbs there, though. It's not gonna do his time well.
Cost him a little bit, but he's still up pretty high, so let's see how it works out. Maybe he'll...
Manages to stay in track limits.
Yeah.
Still gonna be a good time, though. That's gonna move him up to P3.
Yep. Nice job.
That's really good from him.
Beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
This is toward the very end of the quali stint, obviously, so these tires are begging for mercy. Not seeing a ton of people setting personal bests down the tables, a lot of neutral times and a lot of red times. But that's just the nature of this track, you know. You can baby them the first couple laps just to get some bankers in if you want to have some tires ready. As we see a big snap actually from Yaron in the bottom there. That Ferrari was mega loose through turn 5.
And I wonder then, so Vasquez in his McLaren there seems to have managed to pull out quite a blistering time at the end of his qualifying session. So I don't know if there's some of these cars maybe a little bit kinder on their tires and others, and some might just not be so bothered by having more tires than others.
Yeah, definitely. And my ones to watch was was Eduardo Rodriguez. He came into the pits early in the stint to get fresh set of tires, gets back onto the track, and he manages to do it. Sets his personal best on his last lap with a 43.9. That pretty much equals his practice best, managing to set his fastest lap when the pressure is on and when it matters the most. So well done to Eduardo there. I might say that's a pretty sporty time for D3 Silver. We'll see after the week 3 transition where he ends up, but that is pretty quick.
Wow, that is actually quite the speedy time.
Yeah, no joke. But Beck, not to be outdone, he ends up P2, only down by 0.2, and it's pretty close here within the top 5 of D3 Silver. It'll be exciting. I mean, we saw last season the gaps were super close between all of the drivers in D3. There was pretty much nothing in them at the towards the end of the season. You know, everyone sort of put them underneath a blanket, you know, within a second. It was super fun to watch. At the beginning of the seasons, everyone's still trying to, you know, find their pace, find their marks. The new drivers who are new to the league, maybe not quite as experienced in how we do things here, or just in ACC in general. Still trying to find where they fit in. And we'll see a bit more gap here at the beginning of the season, but towards the end of it, it'll you know, if history is to be repeated, we'll see it get a bit closer. As we see these gold drivers now getting done with their out laps now on their hot laps. See Andrew Reif navigating turn 1, turn 2 complex in that Mustang. It seems to be turning in pretty well.
That Mustang?
Yeah. I have when it first came out, you know, just for the novelty of it. It was not my kind of car. And granted, I didn't have quite a good setup on it yet or anything, so probably wasn't the best, you know, circumstances to try it out. Maybe now with the setup it'll be a bit better, but lots of power, you know, and it just did not really want to stop when you have it turned in. It just felt super numb. And so, you know, these setup wizards, they can usually tune some of that out. And I'm looking forward to race it a bit more. You know, I have plans to race it during some endurance races, so you know, it's a fun car to drive. Lots of power, for sure.
Yeah, I was just curious because, you know, some cars are just like to turn more than others and some don't. And I've been behind some Mustangs and observed them. But not sure that that's necessarily tells me much about how they drive.
For sure, yeah. They're pretty good. And the best part is they make good sounds, you know. Listening to them going down the pit straight, it's a good time.
It looks like we're starting to get some of our first bankers in here, maybe from the gold drivers.
Yep, tires are coming up to temperature.
Yeah.
The Porsche, I don't know how to say the last name. We'll have to check what we are checking. But looking pretty quick already with a 44.7 for a banker lap. That's not bad. As Andrew Rife, not to be outdone, he sets his banker lap going P4 overall. So fast, actually, he's caught up to the person in front of him. So probably going to find some more space if he can.
We're
Especially
gonna
with a car that
try
fast.
to remember his name is Kamal, and maybe at some point he can help us with the pronunciation.
Sounds good, Kamal. I like that. Well done, Kamal, on your first lap there. Maxwell, he's a returning driver. He's also in a Porsche. He sets his banker lap P14 overall with a 45 flat.
And then, yeah, right? That hits with a 44. Put him up into P4.
Really well done. There's Max right behind him. Looks like he was able to find a bit of space behind the car in front, and is now able to just let it loose, you know, with a bit of clean track.
Nice, yeah, I see him with he's got himself a 46 up.
Yeah, navigating the Sector 3 complex can be pretty tricky, especially when there's even just a little bit of traffic ahead of you. You know, the aero wash, it's not too dramatic in these GT3 cars, but you can definitely feel it, especially during some sustained corners. As we see, I think that was Rife just letting him go. Maybe he wasn't on a valid lap, and with the driver right behind him just opts to give him a bit more space. Pretty smart.
Yeah, it looks like his was invalid at the time, so.
And Maxwell sets a pretty decent lap there, P10
Nice.
overall. These Gold drivers, they're mixing it up now.
Well, it looks like EM got himself up into P3 while we were doing what we do with a 144.2.
It's really well done.
Absolutely. Rife is going to try to get back up there.
I'll tell you what, we have a full grid tonight, 42 drivers. That's just about everyone that's registered. Week one's usually a pretty full race, but you like to see it. We're here for the on-track action. With 42 drivers, there's going to be no short order of that.
No, yes, we're gonna have a lot of fun trying to keep up with this one.
Yeah, no joke.
So
who else can we watch? Rife, we have him up on the main screen. He's up 2/10 now.
Yep.
See if he can navigate this fast right-hander. Just gets the car pointed in time, and yep, stays well within track limits. Probably picking up a bit of a toe of the Porsche in front of him. It's gonna be nice during the straightaway, but not so nice during the Sector 3.
So we'll see how he does. He's gonna, if he can hold on to this, he will put himself at the top of the Gold drivers.
That'd be a really good result.
Absolutely. Mr. Rodriguez really put a high standard up there for pole position.
Yeah, no one quite able to best his effort so far, but still with 2 minutes to go. There's plenty of time. You're watching Rife, who's extra close to the car in front of him.
He got P2 now.
That's a really good
Very
lap
close.
from him.
Absolutely.
44 flat, just missing out on P1 by a 10th or so. So these drivers all getting towards the end of their lap, finding out where they need to fit in. Suave, you got him pulled up as well.
Yep.
He's up 3/10. That'll be mega if he can bank this one. He's in Sector 3. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, though. I don't think it's going to affect him too much. He gets the car pointed around that corner. Spots his braking zone. Just clips the curb on the right side. That's exactly what you want to do. Already sets him up nice and well for this left-hander. Back to the right-hander in the chicane. Monsters over the curb. The Mustang. You can do that. It's good at that. Plants the power down out of the penultimate corner. Stays within track limits. That's well done. And he goes for P3.
Yeah, he really gained a good chunk of time going through that last chicane there. Saved him.
It's not bad at all.
So let's check on our buddy Kamal, who at this point stands to mess with those top drivers a little bit.
Tell you what, this I think it's Funk in the Porsche. He's up on for a mega lap, and it's good enough for P2, only missing out by P1 by 5/1000ths of a second. The closest competitor we've seen to Rodriguez thus far. Just as I say that, though, Byron with his personal best.
Wow. Sorry, you're in the middle.
You're good. You were talking it too. It was close. I mean, these drivers finding some time here at the end of the stint. It's more than what I could do. I don't know how these drivers are doing it. Well done.
It kind of seems Ian and watched Ian and Panzo crawl up from but yeah, sort of worked their way up from D5 days back when I used to get to race with them, all the way up now into D3. And Ian's always struck me as someone who's just been quietly fast. You know,
He's looking for his big break, and D3 seems to be offering it here now. But he goes the P1 overall. He's quick, no doubt.
absolutely. That Mustang's doing him nicely.
Our session is over now. Time has expired. The last few drivers out on their hot laps. There's a few people improving.
Funk's trying, Rice is really trying to like eke out what he can to try to maybe grab some of those positions back.
He gets it woe down enough for the chicane there. Monsters over the curbs there. With no care in the world, drives over those curbs as well. Doesn't quite have the front end to get turned in there, and he's gonna go off track. That's gonna call it into his hot laps. He's gonna be settling into P4 if no one else has anything to answer.
Which wouldn't appear to be the case.
Our last driver actually on the track, that was Blasini Riviera. We'll go with. He ends up being P5 overall, so he gets his fastest lap on the last one. No better time to do it. And so that'll round out our grid for our D3 race here at Barcelona.
Okay.
It's a pretty exciting qualifying.
Absolutely. Now, I am going to give you the opportunity to mention our sponsors while I fix my terrible liveries, or lack thereof.
All right. Yeah, no worries. We'll get that worked out. So for sponsors this year, let me get that pulled up. Oh man, where did it go? Professional streamer here. Where are they?
That's okay. We'll forgive you. I should have given it to you.
Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah. Okay, there we go. Sponsors. It was right in front of us. So anyways, as for sponsors, of course, thanks you for all the tuning in and dealing with our, our gremlins here in the first week. But a huge thank you also to our SRA sponsor and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as those support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. Glad to have Retro Saga back on board for SRA. And a big thank you for our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. That's SRATE, S-rate. Armentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable enhanced HUD. Change the way you experience ACC. Can confirm, really do love Armentario. Thanks for having them back on board for SRA this season. An AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories. Featuring precision-crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile Steam Deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style. Elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net.
I'm going to stop you, and we're going to go back to the race because
perfect.
We are going to get started.
Sounds good. And look at those beautiful liveries. We're back.
Beautiful, beautiful liveries. Absolutely. They are
looking good out there.
gorgeous, and unfortunately, we will not be doing a track walk with them this time, but we'll look at them come down the track.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a long out lap. We'll have plenty of time to look at him. So Byron
Absolutely.
in the Mustang. I think it's just a stock livery for him. Still looks good, you know. Love that gold and black Mustang sampling car. We have Rodriguez in the flaming Ferrari behind him. Love that look.
That is pretty.
Yeah.
It's nice colors.
It's bright. Yeah, for sure. You won't miss him on track. We have Funk there in the Porsche with this nice black, gold, and pink look. Love this. Love to see that.
Do that. There we get a better look. All right. That is nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's Rife.
Oh,
That's
with the
cute.
blockbuster theme. Love that. The racing
Absolutely.
stripes and everything. That'll add 10 horsepower. And obviously he's quick, so it's working pretty well. Riviera. It could either be a sort of marquee to the Veilside RX-7 from Fast and Furious, or the base McLaren livery. Either way, it's looking good out there, and he's quick up there in P6.
I agree. Ooh, that's
Suave.
cute.
It's got some sort of ghost striping from the Mustang look. Love to see
Yeah.
it. The red
It's nice,
bumper. You're
like-
not going to miss that.
Yeah.
Watch out, anyone behind him. Not to bump into that red one. Not sure how you could.
That's cute. Yeah.
Beck with the Dumb and Dumber dog, I think, car, right? I think that's what that was.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a deep
when
cut
it
for sure, but it
came
looks good
out.
on a Ferrari.
I don't know. Huh. Let's see, how far are we from restart?
Everyone should be just about getting ready to grid up.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing a lot of weaving going down the back stretch. This is the time to get your tires warmed up. It's a bit colder than it was for quali, so tires don't have as bad of a time during race conditions, but it's still pretty hot. I think ambient temperature was like 32 degrees or so. So you don't need to do too much to get these tires up to temperature. They'll do that pretty well just by themselves.
Somebody
But
just-
going down to turn one, you want as much temperature as possible to make sure you're not gonna go barreling off into the sand.
Oh, that's cute. That Maxwell's little Porsche.
It's got some good
Notch.
colors to it.
Or it looks like maybe the candy and stuff. That's adorable. Okay, now they're
Nice.
doubling up, so let's go to the...
Okay, I'll keep an eye on the back side of the grid, in the pip there, and then we'll watch these drivers as they get ready for the first lap, the first race of SRA Season 11 here for D3 at Barcelona. Drivers all staging up with 42 drivers. They're all going to be on the straight, except for the very back. They're going to be around the corner as the leaders come across the line. It's green flag,
There
and we're
we
off
go.
and away. Already we're seeing the Porsche duck to the middle, putting the leaders 3 wide. It's still scrambling. The drivers are fanning out in the back. Everyone manages to keep it pointed forward. The Porsche
So
thinks
far.
better of it. The Mustang with that straight line speed, he's going to grab the lead. We're all
Green.
managing to keep it pointed forward. I'm seeing some drivers off in the grass there. That's all well. That's good. Everyone's still managing. They're 4 wide back there in turn 2. That's not preferred, but it's still well done. Now it's the leaders. They find their space and they're off and away, trying to find their gaps already.
Yeah, they filed in kind of nice there.
Yeah, but still all popping off in the back as we see a big dive bomb from some BMWs back there. They all managed to keep it pointed forward, but that was a bit messy. Well held by everyone involved there.
At least-
As it's a parking lot. Oh no. I think that was Martin
somebody's
Riggs
stuck
in the
back
Porsche
there.
who was stopped in the middle of that corner. Everyone does well to avoid him, but I mean, you're going to lose a ton of spots. Yeah, Martin Riggs down there, P39 now. Tough
That's
start from him.
always- Yeah.
Rodriguez, though, he
happen.
dives on the inside. He gets it low down. Oh,
Ooh,
little bit of
there's a bit
contact as
tap.
all the cars go off track. Andrew Rife sees the opportunity. He's going to gain an extra spot. Actually, there's a bit of contact there between Rife and the Porsche there. Rife manages to keep it on track where the Porsche loses a ton of positions.
Absolutely.
The attacker
yeah,
becomes the defender.
he went down quite a bit.
2 wide through the chicane. That's a bold move. Everyone does well to
There,
keep it on track. A little bit of a contact with the Dumb and Dumber car.
Yeah,
Lost
see a
up
little
on
bit
his
of door
street.
banging, but
That's all good and well. It happens around here. These cars can take
absolutely.
it. They're too wide now. This is for position, I think,
Oh,
7 or 8.
there's
Porsche, a little bit late on the brakes.
I'm not sure what we're doing here.
He takes
But, okay.
the escape road, manages to not die over the curbs. That can happen a lot.
Absolutely. And did it well, didn't take advantage of, being able to cut that at all. It slotted right back in where he started, so.
Right.
Who
Oh, they go
knows?
3 wide into turn 4.
Wow.
I don't know how that happened. That Porsche takes the extra wide line. Manages to keep it on track, though. And they'll file back into single file here.
They're having a grand old time, let me tell you.
Yeah, no joke. It's still pretty dicey out here for lap 2. The leaders have found their gaps and are single file, but back here in the midfield, it's all popping off. As we see another pass down there in the same position, they're 2 wide going through. I think it's turn 5.
Yeah, they're this little group here is really battling it out.
You see a bit of
Yeah.
contact. Oh no!
They're
I think
just,
that was Cumber off into the wall.
Oh no!
You hate to see it. We saw that happen live, but that's going to be tough for his chances.
Well, it's still very early in the race. I've started a race upside down and still managed to end in P11. So
My goodness, yeah.
You never know.
There's a story there, I'm sure. Wow.
yeah, there's quite a few clips somewhere in the SRA Discord you can probably find. We had our Cube Master as our commentator. He's always entertaining in his own special way.
Yeah, for sure. He's for sure. As you see, a dive from the Bentley, actually, a Bentley in D3. That's a
Wow.
bold move. The boat manages to get stopped in time and just edges ahead of the Ferrari there into turn 1. That's a really good move down the inside of turn 1.
Well done. I gotta tell you, as someone who drives Porsche, that Bentley is just not a car I like to see behind me on the street.
Yeah, that thing is quick. Got a lot of weight. It's a bit of a boat, but with our custom BOP here at SRA, take every bit of 40 kilograms out of that thing, and it's pretty competitive actually.
Yep. I've struggled with them many a time. That's a movement around in the back.
That's what I was thinking. The Porsche is diving up the inside of the BMW there. Gets the move done with a bit of hip check, and as he gets the move done, it counts though, and he'll move up to P25.
Absolutely, that's that.
Everybody just about finding their gaps. I mean, I say that. Look at this massive snake stuff going on. Yeah, it's still pretty well chaos. All these drivers are fighting for every position they can.
Yeah, they are. I mean, looking up and down the grid, there's some tightness, and we're missing a few of the. It's really hard to keep on top of everybody moving
For sure.
around here. Looks like one of the Yaron brothers got past Recton back here, so they'll be. Not sure if they'll be fighting to get that back or not. Got so Cumber is in the pit now.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah. So he's got that damage from that early spin out. But honestly, if you're gonna have a problem at the race, might as well have it early. That way, you get it out of the way.
Yes.
You see some more battling going through turn 3. Looks like the Ferrari of Sweeney gets on the inside of the McLaren of Cranston. Gets the move done. That's gonna make him vulnerable now for I think that's right. Yeah, in the BMW. He's diving up the inside. The space is left, and he's gonna clear him, but the McLaren thinks better of it. Doesn't quite dive on the inside. I think that move was on. He probably could have dove it in there, but it's still season. You know, it's race 1 of the season. It's a long season. Don't want to have bad camaraderie with the people who are going to be racing with for 8 weeks.
And you also have 53 minutes left in the race to get that back. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's a long race here at Catalunya. This is still the first stint.
Wicks and Watts kind of hustling back and forth a little bit up here.
Yeah, he's looked at the outside around the hairpin of the Porsche. Can't quite make it around the corner. He's going to file back in behind the Porsche. That Bentley seems strong. We've seen him make some moves already, and it's only lap 3.
Yeah, in the right hands, those Bentleys can do pretty all right. I'm hearing comments in the back going, "It's going to have to be the right hand because of where you sit."
It's true. It is a right-handed car, making it a bit special out there on the grid. Schwartz was diving out to the inside. Actually, this is the Valeside homage car, it looks like, to the Valeside RX-7 from Fast and Furious. So the McLaren's a bit of its doppelganger out there, but it looks good. The delivery works pretty well in the Mustang. Gotta admit. So we see some more fighting going on. I think that was that Bentley.
Yeah.
Was going mega defensive against the Porsche. Manages to all stay the status quo.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's in the very front, Ian's just kind of running away with things at the moment. He's got a nice, almost 2-second gap on Rodriguez behind him. So.
That Mustang is quick, especially early on in the stint. Maybe using up a bit of its tires to break away in that gap. But he's setting 44.6 as race pace. That's pretty speedy, especially on full fuel.
Absolutely. And then, you've got like a second and a half between the other ones. So P1, P2, P3, they're pretty comfy. Wicks and Watts. I really hope they battle all day because I love saying that.
Wicks and Watts, the combo is unmatched. That was Wicks and once again going on the outside of the hairpin. Can't quite get the move done again, and he'll file back in behind the Porsche.
So we'll keep checking on Wicks and Watts. That's a little bit too much fun for me. I think that Mr. Rivera, I believe Mr. Okay, I shouldn't assume that, but Rivera is looking his sights down at Rife if he can make up that half-second gap he's got. Maybe trying to put a little pressure on Rife to make a mistake, although Rife is also bearing down on Rodriguez and P2, so to keep an eye on that if they start to scrunch up a little bit more.
Yeah, these drivers still kind of sizing up their opponents. First time these people probably raced with each other, so it's gotta try to figure them out. As we seeing some bit of tussling going on.
Yep.
Looked a bit chaotic. The Porsche was on the outside of the BMW. Somehow they all file back into single file. So that turn 6.
You've got this large group train of cars. They're all half-second or less between each other. So I definitely anticipate to see some action one way or the other in this group, unless they can manage to spread out a little here. It's like keeping an eye on Rife's differential to Rodriguez. He closes it up a little bit here and there, but I'm going to try not to miss anything.
Yeah, you'll keep an eye up there. Try to go back here and see if we can't find any sort of battles. The Ferrari there of Sweetie is right on the back of the BMW's Neil Sutherland. These are two veterans in the D3 field with right behind them.
Yep. Yeah, if Sweeney and Sutherland start fighting him, Wright is right there to take advantage of it.
That's where you want to be sometimes. Let the other ones get their fighting out the way.
Absolutely.
There's a bit of contact. Swoop right in.
Almost doesn't look because they got baked up there like 2/10 off of the T's. So yeah, you've got a couple close ones.
Yeah, everyone's still battling it out here pretty fiercely. We didn't see any huge collisions on lap 1, which is good. Keeps these deltas pretty close. And with this strategy tonight, with the mandatory tire change, it's going to stay pretty close here until people start making their first pit stops of the night. I wouldn't imagine we'd see anyone do like a mega undercut, go for like a 10-minute stint. I guess it's already been 10 minutes, but I think the earliest we'll probably see is at the 40-minute mark, seeing some bold strategies. You know, people are stuck in a train that they feel like they're faster than.
Yeah.
They'll try to go for a move and early pit. And undercut's pretty strong around here, so there's some validity to it. I was seeing some battling too there. That was Bick or Beck maybe going for the move on the McLaren. Can't quite get the move done. Now it's going to put him vulnerable from Funk in P10.
It looks like the McLaren had just gotten past him and I missed it. Sadly. My apologies.
Still a bit of a train formed here for this sort of P14, 15, 16 grouping.
Sorry, I'm jumping off, but Rip is he's got his sights down here on Rodriguez.
That Mustang in the draft is cooking. In the pip there, we see Big looks to the inside of the McLaren. The space is left. That's going to put McLaren vulnerable on the inside curbing. That's going to make him a bit loose. The Porsche Funk's going to seize the opportunity on the inside of turn 3. He's going to get the move done. Exactly what we said, you know, let them battle ahead. Someone's going to make a mistake. Might as well be there to capitalize on it. And that was a well done move from Funk and the Porsche that puts him to P9.
Kamel is right behind Vic now. Like, probably right on his tail. I mean,
yeah, he looks to the inside. Vic is a bit defensive. They'll all still remain line and stern. It's Vic goes mega defensive going into the uphill corner of turn 7. Gosh, this is fierce battling. They're racing the hell out of each other.
Absolutely.
Insane. I mean, back up front, Byron, we thought he was pulling away, but even with this fierce battling, Rodriguez has managed to pull a couple tenths out of him. Leads now only down to 1.8 seconds. And Riviera is right on the back of Rife there. So Rife was the attacker on the Ferrari at the beginning of this lap. Lost a bit of time, maybe, compromised behind the Ferrari, and now he's the finisher. As we see a bit of contact, Riviera gets into the back of Rife, getting into the second part of that chicane there. I'll grab that in the replay, but that is crushing.
Heartbreaking. See that? That is not how you want.
It was nip and tuck, and it looks like that McLaren just gets into the back of him, didn't get quite mowed down enough, and that's going to spin Rife backwards, and he's now back down to P9. And funny enough, right in the middle of this train we saw formed. So if it wasn't spicy enough already, now Rife.
Exactly. Rife, and Kamal there was really sniffing up the Ferrari. It also looks like Suave got in front of Rivera's McLaren in that tussle. Or I should say in the aftermath of the tussle with Rife. So Rivera did lose a spot.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Mustang now moves up to P3, takes Rife's spot. Being in prime position to do so pays off.
Yes. Sometimes that's all you need. We've got this little cluster is broken up a little bit. So we had like 5-6 cars that were within a half or less. Now we've got 3 or 4.
Everyone's still finding out their spot, with the positions getting mixed up a little bit there due to all the calamity. Spices it up just a little bit. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Rife's got to be steaming though underneath or behind the wheel of that Mustang. He was fast. He was top 3. Had the position to go for maybe a good solid finish there, and just gets knocked out about it. Now he's probably even got a bit of rear diffuser damage. That's gonna hamper his progress now as he tries to make his way back up the grid. He'd be one to look out for an undercut. I think that's a prime position to do so.
Absolutely. And you never know. Sometimes, you have these bumpers and these fender benders, and it does something magical to the car and it becomes faster. So but
it's all popping off there as the Porsche gets loose on the curbs. He's still loose, tries to snap, car's so twitchy. Fan of the Porsche, but it's not good if you're going to be twitching like that. And Rife's going to seize the opportunity. Just barely clears him, not enough to turn down though. Porsche's still on the inside. Rife's stuck on the outside, nothing to do. That's going to set him up well for turn 5. He's got the inside line, the preferred line. Porsche stuck on the outside. Porsche brakes, so out-brakes him going into the corner. Gets on the power sooner, having the outside line, and is just barely going to clear. Rife's going to have to stick behind him. As he does well as the
You better
Ferrari.
watch that.
That was super close. That Ferrari, you know, Rife was on the sort of the least favorable line there on the inside. Was hindered as Rife still goes extra wide. That car is handling like crazy right now. It's a handful.
Absolutely. It just, you know, with the hot track, you take a little slide and it doesn't cool down.
No,
So-
and especially towards, I mean, we're getting near about the point where these tires start to fall off. That, especially that you know, top of the hill turn 9 corner really induces understeer if you put a little too much wheel in it. And with Rife having that compromised line through the preceding quarters, he's lost his rhythm, and yeah, that's probably what happened there. I think as we see the Ferrari, yeah, the Ferrari dips into the pits. He's going to go for the mega undercut at 42 minutes. Someone else behind him follows suit. I think that's Watts and the Bentley, so he was stuck in China train too. These people opting for the undercut think they have better pace on the fresher tires, make up those positions that they were stuck behind.
Yeah, they've just said they've had enough. But that means Wicks and Watts are no longer together, and has ruined
It's a
my
shame.
fun.
Quite the shame. And so yeah, this is going to start this cascading event where, you know, the close gaps we were seeing gonna start to pull, you know, space out a bit as people have different pit entries, you know, and different, you know, ways of getting to their boxes. What was once a, you know, sub 1 second battle could open up pretty easily to you know, a couple seconds battle. But with any luck with 42 drivers, they'll come back in a race and it'll still be entertaining for us. I mean, entertaining as we see Funk right on the back of the McLaren through turn 8. That's super hard to do. McLaren's a bit wide, misses the apex there, but I mean, with all the downforce that McLaren can get right back on the power like it didn't even matter, and is pulling away from the Porsche. You gotta hate that. If you're behind the wheel of that Porsche thinking that's your chance, you know, you make a mistake, gotta capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Nothing doing. McLaren's too fast.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. I agree. Had that experience a few too many times.
Yeah, I was behind the wheel of the Porsche last night, and you know, I was there the first part of the stint, was able to keep up, but especially towards the end when the tires are wearing off, you're real slidey at the rear end, and it's hard to keep up to the McLarens and Mustangs ahead of you. Speaking of Mustangs, Byron, who was our leader, is coming into the pit, so he's going for the undercut as well. He was in a favorable position.
He was thinking about that.
Funk peeks to the inside.
Maybe
Does
trying
well
to
to get back into line.
Maybe just trying to make Vitesse a little nervous.
Yeah,
I
he
think-
got quite the run there into turn 3. He's right on the back of McLaren now. Not quite close enough to go for a move. Using every bit of the track. I mean, the track limit there is the curb, so might as well use it if you got it, but my goodness, testing the limits there.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering why Ian decides to go in. I mean, got that nice, he had a nice gap there to P2, so.
Well, there's a bit of strategy there, I think, too, because pitting from the lead, you know that you're going to have a clean track ahead of you. You know, the previous pitters that, you know, pitted the lap before, they were back down in P10 or so he's going to count with a clean track ahead of him, fresh new tires, light on fuel. As he does, I don't think there's anyone around him. Yeah, he's got 8 seconds gap to the person behind and a 17-second gap to the person in front. He's just going to hot lap here for the next 10 minutes or so, see where he files in, and I'm going to say I think he's going to have a good chance to be the leader when he comes back out.
Nice.
Funk was all over the place there. I caught a glimpse of that. My goodness gracious.
Well, demonstrating the nimbleness of the Porsche and why it's so loved by Porsche drivers.
Goodness, he was all over the curbs there, got a bit loose. Manages to keep it underneath them. Still right on the back, and there he goes.
Right in. Okay.
Tell you what, that pit entry is super sketchy in the Porsche. I was basically full lock sideways coming across that wall.
Wow.
He does well to keep it all underneath him. So we're seeing now a litany of pitters coming in. That's Funk, Rife, and Velazquez, coming in now to get their service done. Checkney behind him. And then I think that's Sutherland and the BMW also coming to the service. Still a bit early, 38 minutes into the race. Or sorry, 12 minutes into the race, 38 minutes to go. These tires are going to be hoping for the end by the end of this race here. Begging for mercy.
Lee and Logan here, they're going to stay out and just bother each other, I think.
Yeah, they're having fun. Let them race.
Absolutely. Gives us some entertainment here. They're really close. They're coming into turn 1, but it looks like Lee got a little bit of a gap. See how long he can hold on to that.
They go for a really wide line, riding the curbs on the outside there at turn 4. I prefer to be a bit more inside just because I feel like it set you up better for turn 5. Especially if you hit the curb just wrong, it can spin you out if you're not careful on power. So really risky business, but with these tires probably begging to be replaced. That's probably all they managed to turn out of the turn 4. That's all they can get out of them. We saw two very different lines. The Bentley was really wide late apex. He gets the better run as BMW monsters over the curbs, gets a bit compromised, and he's going to lose a couple tenths to Curtis Lee ahead of him.
Pop down here and see how Sullivan is eyeing up our buddy Phantom. Sullivan matching liveries with Wright, so I'm going to bet they're teammates.
Yeah, probably so, right? Could be conglomerates, but definitely some sort of alliance there. While Rife, we saw his troubles, but he was still managed to be top 10, and after getting his service done, he's going to net out. Looks like he's 7 so far in this race of the pitters. Byron, as we saw him pit from the lead, remains the leader throughout this cycle thus far. We saw some more pitters coming in that time around. A whole host of them, actually. Gosh, see if I can't grab that. That was Levine, Wright, Schwartz, Riviera, Curtis Lee, Colton, Suave, all coming in to get their service done.
Yes,
we see a big twitch from the from the Mustang there. Oh my goodness, all over the place going through turn 2. That's not where you want to have a moment.
Which Mustang?
That's right. Oh no, we see our first penalty of the night. Suave with a stop go 30. That's too fast into the pits. It's easy enough to do here, but that is tough.
So the first penalty of the season for D3.
Yeah, not the accolade you want going into beginning of the season, but similar strategy. If you're gonna have a mistake, do it early in the season as well. You always have a drop race to take, so if you don't want to use it on the first race, but if you have to, you have that option. That stop go 30 is gonna put him right to the back of the grid more than likely, and that's a tough break for him. As we see Maxwell, he's now coming to the pits. He was P2. Some of our front runners coming back in to get their service done. I think that was Wicks and the Porsche behind him also coming in. It's funny. I thought the BMW was a big car, and then this Mustang came out, and maybe it's got a match for its bigness. It's a big old car, seeing a whole train of the BMWs and Mustangs together. It takes up a lot of real estate on the track, that's for sure. And we see the 2 Mustangs now coming in to get their service done. That's Maxwell, Riggs, Spiker, we'll say, Wicks, and Sullivan and Foster all into the pits.
Wait.
Oh,
Schwartz
who's that?
Just...
Schwartz has a ton of damage.
Let's go back. I'm gonna go back 30 because I totally missed anything.
It's easy to do. Oh no!
Sorry,
so he got
Schwartz,
loose on the exit curb.
Broadcasting that.
You hate to see it, honestly. I mean, he thought he had it made. It had it gathered back up, and then it just snapped to the right again. With the only thing to catch him was being the wall. That's gonna give him at least 30 seconds or so of damage. Pretty well gonna ruin his race, and he was already pitted. And yeah, there he's back into the pits to get that damage fixed.
Yeah, that hurts.
That one back. You tuned into it too. The Panzo, Riggs, and Goriel battle here is heating
Oh
up.
yeah, I see. Yeah, you got that too. I saw some really low deltas there, so I figured I better go check.
My goodness, Riggs peeks to the inside of Rigatoni there. Gets the move done. I mean, that's just a textbook move on the chicane. Well done by Riggs.
Absolutely.
33 minutes to go now. We're seeing some more pitters, Rodriguez and Kamal. And Russell Allen all into the pits. That'll leave Vitez, we'll say, is P1, and that McLaren. Get that, clean air, get that screen time. He's looking good out there, and he's got a healthy gap to leaders. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pit cycle, so a bit artificial of a gap, but 4 seconds of leads, kind of where you want to be. That's for sure. No pressure whatsoever. Just able to get in your rhythm and set those hot laps.
Well,
It'll be interesting to see.
He's putting on pressure to Maxwell.
My goodness, I'd say. I was going to watch where Rodriguez came out the pits. He and Byron was our close battle, and it looks like they're going to come out side by side. Byron goes around the outside with the greater delta speed. Rodriguez still on those colder tires. That was about as close as that gets. We saw Byron pit with a 1.8 second lead a couple laps ago, not able to use the undercut to his advantage as Rodriguez is able to make all that time up, just about gets the move done. Now I'm kind of concerned for Byron because he has worn tires, a couple laps more. At this point in the race, that's not going to be a huge difference, but towards the end, the last 5-10 minutes or so, it'll be all to play for. I think Rodriguez is in the prime hot seat here. It's our battle for relative P1. Our overall P1 is still Vitez, who's staying at where we're at.
This check looks like Velasquez really wants to push Maxwell along here. I think he's tired of that pink Porsche.
All at the back of it. Doesn't quite have enough speed to peak on the inside here. No, not into the chicane. Porsche brakes are too strong as he makes actually a ton of time, goes a bit deep into the chicane. Porsche's gonna pull out just a little bit of gap now. As he goes wide, actually, it's all ebb and flow. It's the fun part of these battles.
Absolutely. But that Porsche has such a nice turn in any kind of hairpin type situation.
Yeah, it's able to just get the power down immediately. It rides over the curbs too.
It can.
That's a bit wide too. Yeah, it's
looks like he's opening up a small gap there. So. Looks like our buddy Ian here has opened up a gap to Rodriguez. So he's
it's a bit of the tire warm up probably with Rodriguez still getting those tires up to temperature. Byron obviously been out for 2 laps, so those are already nice and warm. He's able to continue his hot lapping that he was the laps prior, but now with a bit of pressure with Rodriguez behind him.
But he does have the purple lap of the race thus far, so he can hang on to that. Yeah.
A 44.9 race pace. That's pretty speedy, admittedly. His best so far is a 44.6, and that's probably with full fuel, so a bit more time still in it.
And Vasquez, again, now back to a 0.2 seconds. It's like he's just trying to push that little Porsche along.
Doing everything but get into the back bumper of that Porsche. I mean, there's just nothing in it around these corners. I don't know how he's able to spot his braking points. I mean, you can't even see him behind the Porsche getting a heck of a tow. Porsche goes midline, a bit defensive, and now we'll bonk him out the way. Saw it coming. That's unfortunate. I mean, that was heating up to be a really good battle.
It was.
That's so unfortunate.
That's bad.
Can't go back and catch that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he just.
You hate to see it because they were battling so hard, but Porsche went to that midline. McLaren was opting to get that move done, and there's just no more space left in it when there's 2 drivers on the inside line like that. Something's bound to break, and unfortunately it was the Porsche. Maxwell's going to end up P16 with Velasquez still up there in P12. Seeing a bit of a trade now for behind McChesney. Or no, actually, I guess that's Sutherland in the BMW. Yeah. It's Justin, I think that is. He's twitchy on the penultimate corner. That's going to give that Ferrari a heck of a run. He's all up the back bumper of that Aston Martin. He's just going to dive to the inside. That Sweeney looks to the inside.
He's going to try it.
All over the curb.
Oh, sorry about that.
We'll get back together. It looks like they were able to manage to go 2 wide through turn 1. That's tough to do. So well done from them.
Absolutely. And I'm guessing it doesn't seem like turn 1. It's hard to pull off because you go in the opposite direction there in turn 2 right away. So if you have the inside line going to turn 1, then you're on the out going into turn 2. And
yeah, exactly. It's you really want to get your move done before the braking zone, preferred. But that's not obviously, so easy to do. So what's that? I'll let you try to pronounce that.
Zuniga.
In the McLaren though.
Could have taken more language classes.
He's looking pretty quick. Was right up the back. I think that was Riggs ahead of him.
Yeah, right. Flip happened right.
Meanwhile, back up front, or at least relative up front, the first of the pitters, I was watching Byron and Rodriguez. They were getting through some lap traffic, some people who have yet to pit. I guess not technically lap traffic. It was for position, but obviously with the big pace differential, they were coming up to the back of him quick. Got a bit slowed down. That puts Rodriguez now into 4/10 behind Byron. It's still all to play for.
Really close, yeah. Byron's gonna have to really work to hold on to that. Yes, it would seem.
Yeah, he's got a bit more of the inside line. Looks like that Mustang's super strong in this sector 2 of the track. Just able to, he finds the apex pretty well, and on more worn tires, you would think that'd be difficult. Ferrari's definitely better on the brakes, though. Closes that gap right up. He's right up the back of Byron now. Oh, as we see Sweeney slow. I'll try to grab that replay.
Okay, you're gonna get that one. All right, yeah. I will hop back up to our friends here so we can keep an eye on this.
I think it was Sweeney and McCheckney or something. Looks like Sweeney was on the inside there of the Aston Martin, and just understeered into the side of the Ferrari, understeered into the side of the Aston there. That'll sort of half spin. He's gonna lose a ton of spots though. It's super unfortunate.
Yeah, that is. It's rough.
So with 25 minutes to go now, top 4 have still yet to pit. Actually, I say that the top 3 have yet to pit as the BMW Sacome is getting the service done now. This would be, I would guess, more of the overcut strategy. We saw Vitez, he was right up the front, top 5 or so. On these worn tires, you would think he would, come in sooner rather than later, sort of match the same pace as the 2 relative leaders here of Rodriguez and Byron. But with the fresher tires, he'll be looking to get some moves done towards the end of this race if he comes out, behind these drivers.
Rodriguez is really putting the pressure on Byron now.
Yeah, there's no space to let up. As Byron actually goes a bit deep, the exit of the chicane, it's going to give Rodriguez a heck of a run going up the hill. It's right on the back of the Mustang. The aero wash is pretty tough around that corner in this one too. Got to spot your braking marker. He's right up the back of the Mustang now. Goes a bit wide in the second part of that chicane. With the Mustang's top speed, that's going to be a tough move to get done. Unless the Mustang like that goes a bit wide, probably touches the sand pit there. Don't want to do that on the entry of the big straightaway.
but still able to hold on to half a second gap, so he didn't lose much to that Ferrari.
Wow,
for
Mustang
doing
power
that.
is unmatched around here. We see one more pitter now, Pat Cockcroft, pitting from P3. That just leaves 2 people now. Happy Face in the Porsche, and then Vitesse in the McLaren.
It looks
Going
like
extra long on those tires.
our fastest lap is going to go to Marvin in P38. Have a 144.487. Well, it probably. I mean, maybe he had a incident or something. And
Yeah, he's 23 seconds back of the car in front of him, so definitely had a bit of issue somewhere. But he's quick, which is tough to see. You know, had some bad luck out there, but put on some fresh tires and he's able to go a hot lap with the best of them.
the Austin Red.
On the inside of turn 6, that's a hard move to get done. Manages to go too wide, but is a bit compromised on the exit there. That's going to make him susceptible to Kamal there in the other Porsche. My goodness gracious, they are all over each other.
Absolutely.
And we see the last 2 front runners there. They're finally coming down to get their service done. So that's Vitesse and Happy Face into the pits with Byron on the front stretch now. I think that's going to move him up to P1 overall, and it will. Rodriguez stays P2. So it looks like the undercut was definitely the move tonight. But we've still yet to see what Vitesse can do. He's going to come out. It looks like he's actually in the pits now. Yeah, he's going to be way back down there.
Sorry. Saw that gap between Rodriguez and Byron just close on up. Not sure if Byron has had a bad corner.
Oh man, yeah, Byron's all over the place. He goes wide into turn 4. That's going to open the door for the Ferrari. But has a preferred line going into turn 5. He's going to stick it. He clears the Ferrari on the exit.
It's getting spicy up there.
It's just so tough to go too wide there. There's, I mean, if the window was there, the gap was left, you're gonna have to go for it. It might be your only only opportunity to pass around this track. But you have to be pretty brave to get one done. And we were seeing it successful earlier tonight with a bit of contact. These drivers being driven with the utmost respect with each other and opting not to bump each other out the way, which is nice to see. But all this battling is going to open the door for Riviera in P3 now. Top 3 podium positions, all within 1/10 of a second. This race is popping off.
Absolutely. And you got a couple spots moving around further down in the field. Looks like Sweeney got past right, back down in 22. You've got P12 down to P16, all bunched up together, it looks.
My goodness, yeah, no
Try to
joke.
keep
They
an eye
are
on these.
that Porsche Bentley Porsche battle we were seeing is heating up now, even with more more competitors. Now there's a McLaren and another Porsche in that battle.
Ooh.
Oh, I just caught that. Yep, looks like Sweetie on the inside of the BMW of right. Just gonna get into the back of him there.
Wow. And they all kept it on the track, and they all stayed facing the right direction. So
And Curtis Lee says, thank you very much. I'll take a twofer in 1/4. That's a good move. My goodness. Seeing these cars drive so close to each other for so long, it makes me nervous because that's not easy to do. Oh my gosh.
Nope.
Speaking of, we see Red dives to the inside of the Bentley, maybe just poking his nose at, maybe just going defensive. Porsche behind him.
well, Red is right up there, just a few tenths or less at times. And he's
There's
been at
nothing
that
in it.
for so long like that.
Hop on board with him. He is still pretty stable behind the wheels. That's pretty well done in the Porsche, especially through there. Not go too slidey. I think he's got a pretty good shot at this. You know, his tires seem to still be underneath him. Still got a chance.
Absolutely. I mean, They've both got to be sweating.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a hot one on track, and with the way these drivers are racing, yeah, it would certainly be a sweat fest behind the wheel as well. Back up front, we're seeing Byron pull out actually a second gap of Rodriguez.
Yep. But now you've got Rivera right behind Rodriguez, thinking he would really like to take a P2 spot if he could. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a bit of the tires falling off maybe with that Ferrari who had the tire advantage now. First couple laps, you can definitely see what it did when he was able to close that gap right down. But now that the tires are a bit more worn in, they've lost their edge. He's got 17 minutes left to make sure he can nurse these tires home. But with Riviera right behind him, that's not going to be easy.
No. And you've got Red and Kemal, they're 2 tenths between each other, plus Red being 2 tenths behind DJ Watts.
That was so close between the two Porsches there. Kemal was super deep on the brakes, and Red was there almost to catch him.
Yeah, that's got to be a sweat fest back there. It's just crazy.
They're all over the curbs trying to keep it underneath them. Yeah, this is some tight battling. As Red peeks up the inside, no, surely not. Okay, yeah, they gets back in line. That was going to be a bold move. Oh, as we see Rodriguez actually going for a move.
Maybe.
Byron. What happened there? Byron goes extra deep, decides to cut the second part of the chicane.
Took a speed token there.
With all of that battling, that's going to open up the door to Riviera, who's just going to take the inside line.
Wow. He was just like waiting to pounce on that.
I have to admit, there was a bit of tomfoolery there, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. But nevertheless, we'll let the stewards decide that as Rodriguez goes off the inside, dives on the inside of turn 1. Rodriguez says, no, I'll be having that. Later on the brakes, he's going to keep the position into turn 2 and turn 3.
Red is back there right on Watts, still 110.
He opened the gap behind him, but he's got the toe on the Bentley in front of him. Oh, he's all over the place. You can tell he's hyper behind him trying to make this move.
Absolutely. And it's probably really hard to keep trying to pick out your brake points and turning and seeing what's going on behind that car. That Bentley is pretty wide.
It certainly is. It's a big boat of a car up there, making every inch, or using every inch of this track to stay ahead of the Porsches. This battling though has just invited Vitesse on these fresher tires, and Russell Allen right behind him. It's now a 5-car battle here for the is this the P12?
Yeah,
still all to play for. P3 is still a spicy battle too.
Absolutely,
and which all over the back.
You know, if they're not careful, Funk he might be a second and a half behind, but if they keep fighting like that, you know, that'll close up.
For sure. Oh, as we actually see a bit of contact with Vitesse, he was parked up at the chicane. I'm gonna go back and catch that in the pip. Looks like they were just battling together. Vitesse dives to the inside of the Porsche. I don't think, yeah, very similar to what we saw earlier. Just can't get it woed down in time. The space was left, but on the inside line, they can't quite get it turned in. Understeers into the side of the Porsche. Damage for both cars, but shockingly enough, the big loser out of that entire thing was Russell Allen, who was behind all of it, because all these drivers are still within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, but they have, I mean, it's not quite as close. They've opened up a little bit, but I bet that's going to shrink.
Yeah, a bit of breathing room, but we saw that train form pretty easily behind the Bentley before. I imagine similar things going to happen again.
Yeah.
Got low gain there in P19, making a dive on Neil Sutherland in the other BMW. That's just a textbook move down in turn 1. That's how you need to do it. If only Red and that Porsche battling that Bentley could take notes. We watched it. That's exactly how you do it. Get the toe down the front stretch and then just beat the person in front of you on the brakes.
Yeah,
that was well done.
Absolutely. I thoroughly agree.
Byron is taking full advantage of these two drivers battling out so hard. All up behind each other, but opened up a 1.7-second lead.
Yeah, it's just super tight, and well, I hate to sit on one battle for so long. It is
But
the battle
it's so
for
good.
P2,
It's delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Red got past Watts.
Oh, did he finally do it? Okay, I
did.
will check up
He got
on
it.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
wait,
still
they're
too
still
wide
battling like crazy.
though. Sector 3 is super difficult to go 3 wide or 2 wide even. Porsche's got the outside. I mean, how are they going 2x2 for this long?
I don't know.
Around Catalunya. He stays on the outside. They're still 2
Thank
wide.
goodness.
Battle of the
Red-
century right here.
Yeah.
My
Red
goodness.
has had it with looking at the back of that Bentley, and
They're
and
2x2 now. Looking like a grid formation. They're actually going to fan out now. Porsche's doesn't quite have the top end. But tell you who does, the Porsche behind it, and it's just calamity. It's cartage. 3 wide into turn 1 does not work.
No. That
My
was a hot mess.
Yeah, that was probably how that was going to end up. It was all popping off, and yeah, unfortunately that's how it's going to end. See if I can't go back and watch how some of this started.
I mean, they're still
Coming
quite
down
the
back.
tight mess.
Red. Looks like the Bentley just goes wide. And that's going to open the door for the Porsche behind him. And then, yeah, we saw exactly how it finished up there with him going 2x2 through the entirety of Sector 3. Unbelievable battles there.
Wow.
Back
2
up,
and
speaking of
3 had a
2x2.
little bit of tippy tap, and Rodriguez and Rivera.
They're still 2x2. I mean,
Yeah.
we now know it's possible, and now all these D3 drivers are taking notes. They're like, well, let me try. It looked like a lot of fun. Rodriguez on the outside of the chicane there.
I'm not sure. Fun is
They're
the word.
still 2x2.
Look at
and look
Funk.
who's there. Funk is going to
Oh,
take full
just-
advantage of that.
Absolutely.
The space is left, but only just. Manages to keep it off the grass. That's 3 wide. I mean, you can
Tight.
cover them in a blanket. Of course, McLaren goes a bit defensive. Ferrari's on the inside line. Doesn't quite have the overlap. I'm not
Oh.
sure this is going to end
Oh.
up. Porsche gets real twitchy behind him. Unbelievable battle still popping off here for P2.
Wow.
Byron's thinking, yes, do it some more, please, keep going. He's
Yeah.
loving every bit
Yep.
of this. Rodriguez, I don't know how, found the gap on the outside there. Surely that's not going to work. Yeah, he's going to dive back down behind the McLaren to save his position from Funk behind him. He's going to grab the inside line again on the exit. It's the real, I mean, when you're in the sandwich but battling like this, you want to be aggressive because you know that that's the only time to, you know, you can potentially make this move done. But with having Funk right behind you, you also have to balance it with being defensive. So on the corner entry, you're wanting to dive on the inside, but also you have to make sure you brake in time to make sure it doesn't leave the door open for the person behind you to make a move.
It looks like Curtis Lee may have gotten a bump he wasn't looking for.
Yep, I just caught that in the pip. It looks like he's on the inside there of Sweeney, I think, in the Ferrari,
Yeah.
and just loops himself onto turn 1. That's a tough break for Curtis.
Rife got past Wicks.
Oh, they are.
Just now. Ooh, maybe.
They were off track making that move done. That's an interesting battle. Make sure to grab that one. My goodness gracious, they're still 3 wide or 2 wide going through Sector 3. We love to see it. This is what D3's been known for apparently this race. I don't know how these drivers are doing it. Very respectful driving happening this through Sector 3. Looks like that's gonna give Wicks the position as Rife goes back.
And you have
Oh
Levine
my goodness!
right behind
all over
him,
the
and
curbs.
Andrew.
See if we can't actually go back and see what happened there in that. I went back real far. Okay, we'll see
there's-
exactly what happened.
Still battling like crazy. Wicks and Rife here. I'll go in while you're looking for that replay.
It looks like
There.
Rife was just ultra aggressive on the inside. I mean, there was just no room. There was no way both of those people were going to make that corner. And they use each other to turn in every bit of the track.
Nicely.
If it's paved, might as well drive over it.
Yep.
And yeah, back up to this battle now. That is
Sorry.
still popping off.
All right, I will pop up there. Keep an eye on those guys. You've also got P14 looking down DJ Watts. That's close.
Tell you what, I hopped on that Watts battle. That's Vitez, who we saw had the big overcut. Speaking of overcut, a bit of overspeed into that fast left-hander. Goes a bit wide on the sand pit. Doesn't lose too much time. Had that position, move. He had that move done. Had the position. Just loses the one though, and he's gonna fight another day. Actually, he's gonna fight this corner. Oh my gosh, it's all popping off. That was Russell Allen going mega deep on the brakes. Gets it woe down. I don't know how it stays on the track. The Porsches kind of collide. They bump a little bit.
Yeah. Red's trying to get those positions back that he lost earlier.
And you're watching the Funk Rodriguez battle here for P2 or P3.
Yeah,
it's still pretty close though between those two.
Yeah, it is. Now that they've opened up about a half-second gap, but that never lasts long.
No shot.
You got Logain's gonna get Cranston back at P18, 17.
You would think so. The BMW's got all the top speed in the world. He's on the outside going into Elf, the turn one. Late on the brakes. I mean, yeah, textbook stuff again. Logain out here putting on a clinic on how to make moves. Around the outside of turn one, that's a really well done move. And I think that was right also getting by McKechnie. I'm really bad at saying that. I'll work on it.
McKechnie, maybe. Vitez and Watts. Oof.
Battling again?
Yep.
They sure are. Vitez on the outside of Watts into turn 5. That's going to give the Bentley the inside line, though, to turn 7. They're going to do a bit of a crossover move. Not sure where they're finding space for that. Vitez is stuck on the outside now. McLaren's got all the downforce in the world. But no space. No space is left at all. The Bentley runs all the way out to the sand pit. I mean, Vitez is just going to go dive to the inside. Yeah. Surely he's got this move done now. The preferred line around the chicane gets a bit squirrely on the apex, though. There's a bit of a bump. Bentley sends Bentley wide. Oh, and then coming back onto the track, the rejoin was kind of sus. That's going to shoot Vitez backwards. Unfortunate consequence to that battle. It was popping off for so long. Something like that was bound to happen, but super unfortunate. Let's see if I can't grab a replay of that. Yeah, he's going to lose a dozen positions. Right, also getting the move
A
back
little
down
birdie is telling me it's McKechnie.
McKechnie. Okay.
McKechnie.
I will commit that to memory. I appreciate the little birdie.
Thank you, my little birdie friend. I'm gonna let you keep an eye on 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, sounds good. We'll have that in the smaller view, and you can have all the main battles up where we need to see them.
Yeah, let's get something different on the screen. I don't want to lose track of it, but you've got Happy Face here popping past Sutherland.
Yeah, Sutherland was a bit wide there on turn 3. Not a lot of grip out there. A lot of marble, especially with only 5 minutes to go in this race. Just gets a bit wide, and that's going to give Happy Face and the Porsche the position. Done for him.
Let's see, Mr. Wright and Mr. McKechnie.
These guys have been going back and forth pretty much every lap for the past 10 minutes. And I think we're going to see another move done on the inside there of turn 6. It's just a clean overtake.
Yeah.
Well done from Mr. Wright.
I wonder if we should have some bets as to how long it's going to be till we have to hop back to them.
Right. I give it another lap. Same spot. That seems to be the spot to do it. Those are 2 GRR conglomerate mates going at it. Love to see it. Some clean racing between those two. Just having a good time out there.
I mean, look at that train.
I mean, all this battling they've been doing has backed up the entire sort of back half of this grid. It's been insane. Speaking of battling, Rife is on the outside of turn 1, inside of turn 2. Wick's going to get the power down early on the inside of turn 3. That's going to give him the position. well done from them. I mean, with 3 minutes to go, you would think this race would be all but done, but maybe
No.
for P1 it is. Everywhere else, though, it's not over yet.
Nope. Sweeney and McKechnie.
There is no space in
Still
between those two
fighting.
cars. Sweeney doesn't quite have an overlap. I mean, he's alongside on the inside line. That's preferred line going inside into turn 1. Late on the brakes is McKechnie. He's on the outside now. I don't know how
Little
that Ferrari
bit of
found the grip on the
door-banging.
curb there.
That's rough.
My goodness. This is a great battling. Oh my gosh.
You've Sutherland and Vitesse.
Matisse
Are
coming back
fighting.
from that spin. He's still on fresh tires, making all sorts of moves. Gets that move done on the
Absolutely.
outside of turn 5. Who would have thought that was where you need to get that move done? But sure. I'll move him up to P20. We saw him. He was battling for P10 earlier. So not the results he wanted, but he's quick. We'll see him again for week 2.
Oh, look. Oh! Ouch!
No way. Okay,
Back.
we're seeing some spin in the chicane. That's tough. We're watching that. Funk just dived on the inside of Rodriguez there. That'll move Funk up to
Oh,
position.
just
Silver.
didn't get it woed the way he wanted.
Oh,
That's
and then it's
sad.
just a parking lot. That was tough. I mean, that was the sportsmanship thing to do, was to kind of woe up and give that position back. Not really want to do it, though. Pull off to the side of the road if you want to try to give it back. That's tough.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're sitting in the middle of the road to know exactly what the best course of action is at that point
No.
in time.
Lots of learning going on. Speaking of, Russell Allen, super slow down the front stretch.
Huh.
No way they're out of fuel, right? He might be he's slowing to a stop. So you cannot refuel in this race. No, he's getting back on the
Wait.
gas. Okay.
I'm not sure
He's
what
given.
that...
Oh, he might have just been given the position back. I think that was part of the incidents we were seeing earlier.
Okay.
What
a gentleman.
Proper move. Well done to
Absolutely.
him.
Big kudos.
We're seeing one more
Sweeney in
drive-through,
the
one more
pit.
penalty come through. Yeah, that's a drive-through for Sweeney. You hate to see it this late in the race. Easy to do around here. Those track limits are brutal. And just to note, up front, Funk was able to get that move done on Rodriguez. That'll move him up to P3, the podium position now. And admittedly, Riviera is not too far ahead. I mean, they're still within 7/10. This is yeah, there's gonna be the 2 laps to go, or I guess this is 1 lap to go because we just started the last lap. So if you're gonna make a move, now's the time.
All right. But, Rodriguez might not... He might want that podium back. That P3 position.
Right?
He
We saw
might
he
not
was
be ready.
fast.
Oh, no. That's not... Track
That's not the line?
limits. No, it's not. We'll allow him that position. Let's see
wanna
your
see how
buddy
this
Happy
happens.
Face.
Happy Face on the inside of the BMW. Doesn't quite have the top speed. That Porsche is nice everywhere except for this front stretch. His BMWs will just pull away.
But he's holding on and in the inside line, but not where he wants to be there. Not good.
Tell you what, there's a heck of a battle happening between Wick and Rife. We saw it happening into turn
Let's
1
find
where
the-
they were side by side. They're still side by side now going into turn 7, turn 8 complex. Rife's going to get that move done.
Oh,
Hopefully
and
that's going to be the last
Rodriguez and
time.
Funk up there in the front, they're
Oh.
battling it out too.
Just popped off, yeah. And tell you what, Riviera is right there as well. This is the last lap. So this is last opportunity to make a move done. And we're seeing some desperate moves come out of Rodriguez behind him. He's laid on the brakes. They're a bit wide. They're all over the place. They navigate around the chicanes, though, just fine. And I think that's going to end it. It's going to send Byron to P1, overall winner.
Well, look
Riviera
at this
P2,
finish.
Funk P3
Wow.
gets that podium position. And Rodriguez, he qualified second, but he ends up first in the silver division. That's a well done race from him. Velazquez in the McLaren in P5. Beck in P6. Maxwell
gonna
P7, Rife ends up
keep an
P8.
eye on Happy Face here because he's only a couple tenths off of the back of Sutherland, and the race is not over for him yet. So maybe,
Yes.
maybe. Although he's not going to drag race that BMW more likely.
That big battle we were seeing between Red and Watts looks like it kind of diffused itself towards the end of this race here. Vitez come across the line P6 with a decent recovery drive at the end of that, and he just bails it into the tires. Well done. Martin Riggs, it's a battle. It's a drag race across the line. I don't think he does. I don't think he gets the move done around Justin there at the end. Looks like he's been.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, Justin came out before Riggs there.
And I could be wrong, but I think we saw a last lap battle. Marvin and Sweeney for P last.
Yes.
Swap positions.
Hey.
So there was battles up and down the grid tonight, as can be seen with that.
Absolutely.
What a race!
Yes. I gotta say, I was looking at the roster and thinking we had such fantastic drivers last season in D3, just really showing us how it was done, the side by side and amazing racecraft and respectful driving, and said, okay, well, we don't have half of those guys, so let's see how this one goes. And they really, D3 seems to be the magic division.
Yeah, we saw a few incidents here and there, but critically, a clean turn one and a clean lap one. There was very few incidents there. You love to see that. And then, throughout, there was battles throughout. Everyone was battling. I can't imagine how many battles we saw side by side through the entirety of Sector 3. It's unprecedented. These drivers are being super respectful in their racing, and it's putting on a great show. So it's been an absolute treat to commentate tonight. And my word, I'm so excited for this season. If this is how every race is going to be, we're going to have a blast.
Absolutely. Yes. Exciting. Definitely. So.
Yeah, let's see if we can't grab some of our winners, yeah?
Absolutely.
Let's see. I'll grab Ian Byron. He was our overall winner and putting on a show in the Mustang tonight. Hey, Ian. This is Landon and Steph in the booth. You got us?
What's up?
Yo,
Hey.
congrats, man. Overall winner. How does it feel?
That was stressful.
Yeah, for sure. I bet.
Man. That was the hardest race I think I've ever had. I'm so lucky that P2, 3, and 4 battled pretty much the whole time, and it kept me in front. I would not have been able to do it if it was just any one of those three guys.
Right. Yeah. They were putting on a show back there, but that allowed you to just open up the gap. I got to ask though, that undercut, you pit it at like minute 40.
Yeah.
What was your thought behind that? I
heard it was pretty good, and I've had good luck with it in the past. And I knew that those three were already starting to get close to each other, and I'm like, well, if I can come out in front of them, hopefully I can keep them behind and they'll battle. But it worked out.
Yeah, and only by just a little bit though, because Rodriguez came out the pit and you guys were side by side going into turn one. Did you think that was going to end well?
Yeah, because I know Eduardo. He's a clean racer, and no problem.
Okay, yeah. Well held. It was you had obviously the fresher tires and was able to open up that gap. But I gotta say, you look pretty strong out there in the Mustang. How you taking it? It's a new car. There's not a lot of known variables around it. Is it pretty nice?
I love it. It's great. It's the only thing you got to be careful of is that exit oversteer. It's tough. It's really tough, especially with worn out tires.
Yeah, 40-minute old tires. That'll happen.
To turn 3, I think, when you start getting back on throttle, that long right-hander.
Oh,
it's so hard in second gear. It's part throttle like the whole time. And of course, Eduardo in the 296 was like easy on throttle right on me the whole time. So
yeah, you're on a knife's edge for sure.
Yeah, one thing though, I'm not sure if the BOP was applied to us.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Those Mustangs are pretty quick in my race too. I'll have to check with the stewards on that.
Well, like for the whole server. I don't think any BOP was applied.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that.
Huh.
I don't think Mustang had any plus or minus this week. I know that the 296 did. I mean, a bunch of cars did, but yeah, I feel for the Lexus drivers.
Yeah,
did it at full weight.
that was one of the things we like to see in D3 was the variety of cars. We saw everything from Bentleys to the new Mustang, you know. So with the hopes that maybe that BOP puts them a bit more balanced, if it was in fact not applied, I was seeing the practice servers, but when it came down race time, you never know if it actually was there. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Normally you check the timetable and it shows the plus minus. I didn't see it, so anyway, all good though.
We are checking. Yeah, and it worked out for you. That Mustang's pretty quick, so congrats. Where did you come from? Like, you weren't in D3 last season. Were you?
So I was D5 actually with Stephanie, I think season 5, and then 6, and then 7.
Yeah.
And then I think I took 8 off, and then 9. D4 last season, and then I guess I got promoted this season.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, you found your home in D3 right away with a P1.
Yeah, it was a tough race. It was definitely those guys got some pace, and I'm not sure if we'll get a repeat performance like this one from me. That was tough. I beat my PB in quali by 6/10.
6/10, my goodness.
I don't know how I did that lap. That was wild. I was expecting maybe a P15, P10, you know, but anyway, good race.
Yeah.
I guess you have good ones every once in a while.
There you go. Take advantage of them when you do, because they're pretty sweet. Well, congrats
right.
on the win, man. Excited to see the rest of the season for you.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys streaming. I know it takes a lot of time, and yeah, I'm ready for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, you keep putting on shows like that. It's our pleasure.
Absolutely. That was fantastic.
All right, we'll put you back in your chat. Congrats again.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
Well done to Ian there. Stand-up guy and really fast, too. So I'm excited to watch him throughout the rest of the season. Who else can we grab? I was thinking Riviera there. He was in the McLaren, end up P2. We'll grab him.
Sounds like a plan.
There he is.
Oh.
Hey, Jorge, or Riviera, sorry. This is Jorge, yeah.
Jorge.
Lando, this is Landon and Steph in the booth. How are you? How was that race for you?
I am drenched in sweat. Like, it's my first race in SRA, and I've never had so much fun. I can't believe we went too wide through the chicane with that Ferrari, and we just went by unscathed. I don't know. I was driving out of my mind.
It was unbelievably respectful racing the entire way up the grid. But yeah, especially that battle. I mean, this is for podium position, P2, battling the entire Sector 3 side by side. I couldn't imagine the stress.
I need to get that guy's name, and we gotta hook up in Discord and talk, because that was insane.
Yeah, the clips are nuts for sure.
I messed it up, and I don't have the replay, so I need somebody to send me that replay.
Yeah, no, it'll be on the VOD at least. We were having a great time watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a good race. How was that for you though? I mean, you had to battle your way back up through the field there.
I don't know. I was in the zone. Everything just blurred out. All I can see is in front of me, and I just try to keep it together for the last 20 minutes. Like I said, I am completely exhausted.
I can imagine, man. You three were battling for P2 pretty much that entire second stint. It was going back and forth between you all. You ended up P2 though, so that makes you end up with a good result and sets you up pretty nice for the season. How do you like your chances, you think?
I'll take it one race at a time. Imola is my favorite track, so I should have a good weekend there too. So we'll see.
You'll love to see it, Steph.
Nice.
I think I have my favorite for next week then. I'm going to pick you. That's it. Riviera P1. We'll see it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the P2. You guys put on a hell of a show. Loved watching it. Loved commentating it. And excited to see you throughout the rest of the season. It's going to be a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Of course.
You're welcome. Of course. Thank you.
I'll move you back over to your chat. And I want to grab our, let's see, P3, Mr. Funk. He ended up behind Riviera, but they were, embroiled in that huge battle the entire time.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't find him. Mr. Where is he at? I'm not seeing him actually in the chat. We may have just missed him, which is super unfortunate. Tell you what, who was our silver winner? I think that was Velezquez. I'm not seeing him either. Oh man, I was really looking forward to chatting with those two. Yeah, we were seeing some battles all the way up and down the field, and those ones had a front view for all of it, front row seat for it.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job tonight.
Yeah,
No.
Didn't quite grab the rest of the finishers there, so I think we may have to call it there for the for the interviews. Let's see. Was there anyone else you wanted to talk to?
No, I do need to make sure I don't forget. I cut off your sponsor read earlier, so I wanted to make sure that we didn't forget to mention our Castle and Cauldron, who I think is a new one, which is a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Fairy World collectibles, magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit the facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. Sounds kind of cool, actually.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to make sure we didn't forget that one.
Yeah, thanks to all of our sponsors and affiliates there. And can it put this SRA season on without you all? And thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great race, and I'm excited for the next 7 races. It'll be a fun to watch and watch how it all unfolds. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
See you next time.